Antoine, absolute pleasure to speak with you. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good, man. I love the Equalizer trilogy. I remember I went to see that first one with my mom in theaters, and it's movies that we really love watching together. So thank you for talking to me about it.
Absolutely, man. I love that you went with your mom. I love that.
Yes, sir. Oh man, the Equalizer 3 is kind of like the cathartic swan song for Denzel's Robert McCall, and I love to hear after directing a trilogy and working with these collaborators for so many years on this trilogy, what sort of catharsis do you feel personally as a director reaching the end of the story?
I think this certainly is the perfect way to end it. For me, it's all about finding peace. And I think as a person, I'm getting to that place in my life. I got kids now and all that. Where it's like, yeah, I think I've killed enough bad guys. I'm gonna do something different.
Yeah, is there any other film or character that you've worked on that you wish could have had this sort of lengthy run in your career, done a trilogy with, or done a sequel to, or something like this?
Yeah, I think Magnificent Seven. I always wanted that character to have more of a story. I wanted a bigger story arc with that character. He's a very cool guy.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe one day, who knows? It's Equalizer 3. I'd love to hear this is the reunion of Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning that everybody's talking about. I'd love to hear if you guys ever on set or while you were talking about the story talked about this is kind of like the Man on Fire sequel that John Creasy never got to have because their relationship is so awesome. And I almost saw that sort of, I don't know if that's just Denzel and Dakota and their personal relationship coming through on screen and the chemistry they have, but did you guys ever talk about it that way?
We never talked about it collectively, but I've thought about it that way. I mean, when Dakota said she was interested, I thought, oh yeah, this is Man on Fire, but years later, this is what he's doing, and then, but I never said that to them because they're just in the characters in those moments. But when you see them together, man, when I saw them on the set, it was just like, just smiling, I was just like, yeah.
So good. Now, I watched an interview. You were talking about how Denzel has improv some of the most iconic lines, like back in Training Day. He improv some of the most iconic lines throughout the Equalizer trilogy. Are there moments that you have to credit Denzel for? This is where his creative genius flowed through. He improv this moment, this action beat, this line of dialogue.
Well, the whole thing with the tea and the napkins is something he created. We talked about it early in the first one. And then he started doing it in the first one on set. And I was just like watching, like, what's happening right now? He's folded and doing the thing, I was like, okay. That's Robert McCall. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's such an integral part of the character, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Something he brings to the table.
That's awesome. It's just he's a genius. You guys are great collaborators on this. And so I also, as Comicbook.com, I searched your name within our site, and I saw that 5 years ago, I think it was, there was a quote you had that you had met with Sony, you had met with Marvel and Kevin Feige. I think it was Black Panther and Morbius back then that you had conversations about. I love to hear you say you want to go do new things after Equalizer. Has any of those conversations happened? Are there superheroes or comic books or anything like that have piqued your interest over the years since then?
I think they're fun, man. They're fantastic, but I don't know. It's the only one that I really connect the most to would be Batman. For whatever reason, it's probably because I grew up with Batman. I grew up as a kid, and and I lived in New York. He just seems like a character I would understand a little bit more. But there's been no more conversations about that.
Hey, fair enough. My last question for you. This is your fifth time working with Denzel. I'd love to hear, are there a pair of is there an actor-director pair that you look at and you're really interested in their work that you guys kind of you just want to see them work together, kind of like how we feel about you and Denzel?
Well, I mean, I love to see whenever De Niro and Scorsese come together, but obviously they're at a certain point in their life, you know what I mean? Now, but I can't think of anybody else off the top of my. I mean, it would be great if Daniel Day came back and did something else with Michael Mann.
Oh,
I
man.
think, Last of the Mohicans was just brilliant.
Incredible work. Yeah. Well, Anton, I got to let you go. It's an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for the time and congrats on a great journey on this Equalizer trilogy, man.